Hey everyone, coming at you with a new video with some ideas about the future of Dark Magician, and you know this one's serious because it's a rare thumbnail video, so strap in. We've got some deck theory to go over. I've got some ideas about how to move forward with Dark Magician in light of Moon of the Closed Heaven being banned, since I have previously advocated for Fiendsmith Dark Magician as a competitive way to play the deck, and so I think that's a good place for us to start. What was good about Fiendsmith Dark Magician? Well, what was bad about Dark Magician? I love Dark Magician. I think he's cool. But for anyone who's played the deck, you know that these cards do not do a whole lot on their own. If your effects are negated, that kind of ends your combo right there on the spot because you can't do anything else meaningful with these cards. If I don't have a search off of Rod, the best thing I can do is turn him into an Artemis, for example, and pass turn. That doesn't really do anything. If I am not able to draw successfully off Magician's Souls, maybe the card advantage I was relying on, or the thing that I stacked that I want to search is no longer in hand, my options become very limited. With Fiendsmith Dark Magician, those card effects that we're talking about can either start our plays, or they can bleed our opponent's hand of interactions, which paves the way for us to successfully combo into our flexible, powerful, and recursive Fiendsmith engine by way of Moon of the Closed Heaven. So now the cards that we're playing with in our archetype have value beyond the effects that are printed on them, which is super important. Every powerful, meta-relevant deck has that same kind of synergy going where the effects are, well, their effects are really good. They often have multiple effects, but even when those effects are negated, they can continue pushing and developing their board because of other synergies within the deck so that the individual cards have value beyond just the effects that are printed on them. Fiendsmith solved this problem for Dark Magician. Without Moon, however, we're right back to that problem. And you can do things like fill your main deck with extra ways of searching for Fiendsmith combo starters, but that kind of defeated the purpose of Fiendsmith within Dark Magician, which was to just always have access to it by way of Moon. So now that this is gone, and people are looking forward to Dark Magician of Destruction and the best way to play it, there's a variety of ideas that people have pitched. Shining Sarcophagus is picking up steam as a combo engine. We're seeing a lot of that in the Dark Magician Discord with some just insane end boards that people like Go Kick Rocks have been putting together. I think, though, that the most popular variant, at least the most excitement that I've seen about a variant going forward so far, has been Azamina Dark Magician, pioneered by Matchy YGO, who, if you're watching this video, you already know who Matchy is. Guy is at the forefront of innovating ways to play Dark Magician in TCG with a competitive mindset. If you go over to his channel, and I'll link it in the description, he's got a video over there. I made the best Dark Magician anti-meta combo, which, spoiler, is a 1.5 card combo that ends on not just Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, but Secret Village of the Spellcasters. The ability to not just consistently access Dragoon, but to combo into Secret Village is a significant step forward for Dark Magician as a deck. Why? Well, Secret Village is phenomenal because it solves a lot of the problems that we have with Dragoon-oriented strategies. Dragoon is a powerful fusion monster, and Negate and Destroy is a powerful form of interaction, but in an era where we have to deal with things like Forbidden Droplet, Super Polymerization, Triple Tactics Talent, it's very rarely the case that we can use that Dragoon effect unpunished. Oftentimes we can't use it at all because it's negated or he's removed from the field before we have a chance to use him. Secret Village insulates you from that. And because we've simplified the game state with our Secret Village of the Spellcaster, your opponent cannot use spells to start and extend their combos, which means that their options in hand are much more limited, and therefore your one Dragoon Negate and Destroy is much more impactful in terms of your opponent's ability to progress their own game state and get an advantage over you. So, anything that lets you combo into Dragoon and Secret Village together is really, really good. Azamina does that in a very clean way, so that's got people excited. But it doesn't really give us anything in the way to do with Magician's Rod and Magician's Souls for people who want to play those cards. And so it got me thinking if there's any other engines that would work with these in the same way that Fiendsmith did. And there is one. Going all the way back to February this year when Yummy was first announced in OCG, I and other people in the Dark Magician Discord noticed, obviously, that Rod and Souls can get you access to this engine that, like Fiendsmith, is powerful, flexible, and recursive, so that your Dark Magician cards have that extra value. So what does that look like? Well, just like with our Fiendsmith example, if you have a 2-card combo of Magician Souls and Rod, you would pitch your Garnet to the graveyard to special summon your Souls. You would summon your Rod here and do a search. What you search for, not super important for demonstration purposes. We can generate some hand advantage here. Hopefully our effects resolve. Awesome if they do. If they don't, it doesn't really matter, because I can take my level 3 spellcaster and turn him into a Link 1 monster. And because I have a level 1 and a Link 1, I can Synchro Shokan, the all-powerful, cupsy, yummy way. And now I can go full yummy combo using those same resources as before. That's undeniably really, really cool. It's also undeniable that nobody's excited about this or done anything with it. And when I say nobody, I mean that as someone who goes to the Dark Magician Discord regularly, for example, I have not seen any conversation from people who are actually playing Yummy Dark Magician and getting any kind of results with it. I did a search on Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta here, as you can see, for Yummy decks using Dark Magician, and only found one single list from August. This person is running basically a Dark Spellcaster Turbo package with Diabellstar and Horus to access Dark Magician of Destruction. Notably, he's not running Dragoon or anything for Dark Magician of Destruction to search, besides Magician Souls, which I guess is just an extender to get into Yummy. But, I mean, that's it. I can see why people aren't super excited about this, honestly. So what do? I think it goes back to, in part, why Fiendsmith Dark Magician might not have been popular, which is, I mean, a lot of the complaints that I've heard over time are, one, that, well, the cards just don't go together aesthetically, you know? The Fiendsmith cards, they don't work artistically with the Dark Magician cards. And with all due respect to people who feel that way, there's nothing I can do to solve that problem for you. That's a matter of personal taste if you do or don't think the Dami Mami Lacrima Demon deck fits with your Black Magic Spellcaster deck. I thought they worked together just fine, but if they don't work for you, that's okay. If you're someone who feels that way, you probably really don't like the aesthetics of Yummy mixing with Dark Magician, and then we're even more lost, so it's not even worth talking about. The more credible concern that people have is, is if you're a fan of Dark Magician and you want to play a Dark Magician deck, people would say, well, I can use my Dark Magician cards to go into Fiendsmith, but I can't use my Fiendsmith cards to go into Dark Magician, so it just feels like I'm playing a Fiendsmith deck, and it doesn't feel like I'm playing a strategy that's meaningfully oriented around Dark Magician and the plays that you can make with him. Which, fair enough. I understand that if someone's goal is to play what feels like a Dark Magician deck, and they want to make sure they're using things that support that strategy, maybe it feels like being only able to bridge in one direction makes it a fairly one-sided relationship, and you really are just playing the high-impact engine with some Dark Magician cards thrown in there. And since, like Fiendsmith, Yummy can't bridge into Dark Magician, maybe that's why it's not been super popular. Except, Yummy can bridge into Dark Magician, and not only can it do that, I can trade you a 1.5 card Azumina combo that ends on Dragoon and Secret Village, and I can do a 1-card combo that does the exact same thing, while setting up resources in the graveyard to interact with your opponent on their turn, and set up resources for you to use on your own turn to push for game. This is so cool. And you can use any Yummy monster to do it. So we're starting with Marshmallow here. It does not have to be Marshmallow. Any of them will do it. Let's see if we can do it in one take without messing things up. We summon our Marshmallow. We go for our Snatchy. And the cool thing about this combo is that, as somebody who really tries to prioritize a consistently high floor and not a maximally high ceiling, and tries to avoid gimmicky, so to speak, combos to that effect, this is not a gimmicky combo. This is just the standard Yummy line, start to finish, until the one tweak that allows you to bridge engines. So you don't have to run things like Mausoleum, which suck to draw. You'd way rather draw something like a Mignon, wouldn't you? You don't have to run things like Hallowed Azumina, which are just total bricks. You can just do powerful, standard, insulated Yummy combos and get to your Dark Magician stuff anyway. So we're going to go ahead and summon our Yummy here. which allows us to search for our surprise. Now, we're going to link away and synchro again for our Lolipo, which is going to put some bodies on the field for us to work with. We are going to grab a level 2 and a 1. These are negated, so it's not super important which ones you go for. Now, here is the key to it all. I had never even heard of Shamisen Samsara Sorrow Cat before watching YCS Anaheim and seeing Triff use it in his Yummy Mitsurugi deck. And when I read this card's effect, immediately the light bulb went off. It is a level 3 tuner monster that can hop back onto the field by shuffling back a synchro monster from your graveyard. And since I already knew that Yummy can summon level 4 synchro monsters very easily, 4 plus 3 equals 7. So you can see what's coming, right? We are going to use our Yummy Surprise that we searched to summon our Marshmallow, which we happened to start with in this demonstration, but if we had not started with him, we would have searched him with our Cupsy Yummy way. And that's important because he lets you recover a Yummy spell from the graveyard when he's special summoned, which means that we can use our Yummy Surprise for free and put it right back in our hands, so we haven't lost any card advantage whatsoever. We have already gone 1, 2, 3, plus 4, and we haven't sacrificed anything at all, which is great. We're going to use our level 3 tuner monster and our level 1 Marshmallow to make Herald of the Arclight. And here's where things get really cool. We're going to resurrect our Shamisen to put a level 3 tuner on the field to make Ancient Fairy Dragon. And because we're putting Herald of the Arclight in the graveyard, it is going to trigger to search Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos is going to grab Magician Souls, putting it back. Magician Souls is going to activate, sending itself to the graveyard to summon Dark Magician. And because the Yummy cards activated a spell effect this turn, I get to summon Dark Magician of Destruction, who will grab a spell of my choice. Now here you have some options. If you wanted a permanent Dragoon, you don't want to deal with the Gaze effect to banish after 2 turns, you can just go Secrets of Dark Magic here, and you can use your Dark Magician of Destruction and your Ancient Fairy Dragon to make Dragoon. That's awesome. However, if you want to set up a IP Masquerena, so that you can use Dark Magician of Destruction and then link him away for Selene, revive him, and then negate again, you can do that. We can set that up here. But first, we're going to use our Ancient Fairy Dragon effect to pop our field spell that we also searched with our Yummy combo and add Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Now, before we activate that, of course, we want to make sure we can activate spells, which means we need a spellcaster on the field. We will go Gaze of Timaeus, shuffle back, we summon our Dragoon, and now, off of our single Yummy card, we have Dark Magician of Destruction, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, IP Masquerena, and Lolipo, which is going to float back into Yummy Snatchy and a level 1 of our choice to make our plays. And we have Yummy Surprise as well on standby. In this exact scenario, this would be our discard fodder for Dragoon, but you don't start a round of Yu-Gi-Oh! With 1 card in hand, you start with 5. So this is just something we have for free that we can use on our opponent's turn, and we can discard something else. This is exciting! This is really cool! I think this is great. If this doesn't solve that problem of, oh, well, the engine only works one way, what else does? This is more synergistic with Dark Magician than Fiendsmith ever was, because you can bridge both ways. Dark Magician gets you into Yummy, and Yummy, more excitingly, gets you into Dark Magician, which means that your deck is full of 1-card combos that get you to the coolest, most powerful Dark Magician end board anyone's played since Mystic Mine. It's sensational. So I'm not much of a deck builder or a combo guy. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with in terms of tech options, streamlining the combo, generating more advantage with it, and so on. Now, this is not a deck profile, so I didn't even want to show a deck list, but I know people are going to ask, so as I sit here, this is what I've been playing with. This is not to say that this is the deck list you should be using or taking to locals if you're an OCG or anything like that. This will get you the combo. I mean, at minimum, you're looking at 1 copy of Magician Souls, 1 copy of Illusion of Chaos, 1 copy of Dark Magician, a search target for Dark Magician of Destruction, probably a Gaze, or a Secret's your choice. And these 2 guys. And that's really it. That is a very small package in order to consistently make Dark Magician plays that feel really, really good. This has 18 hand traps in it. We are approaching an age where you can play 1-card combos to build a robust Dark Magician end board, and you have room for 18 hand traps in the main. It's so good. It's so good. Where it's a pain, Fiendsmith had this problem. Yummy has this problem even more. Man, is the extra deck tight. Yummy demands a lot of extra deck space, as well it should. People say all the time, like, oh, imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh! You could play 20 cards in the extra deck. I have never felt that way more strongly than trying to play this deck. I would love to have 3 copies of Snatchy. I would love to have Master of Chaos and Timaeus the Magidragon in here. I would love to have Almirage so that I could turn things like Ash Blossom or Ghost Bell into a Link one. There's a lot of things that I've had to sacrifice to make this work and still feel good, but there's opportunity cost with everything, and you're going to feel that in your extra deck above all. The main deck is fairly flexible. I mean, if you've got space for 18 hand traps, you've got flexibility in your main deck. So give this a spin in casual mode if you're playing on Omega and you're a TCG head like myself. If you're an OCG where, as far as I know, this entire deck is totally legal, play this. Play versions of it. Let me know how it goes for you. I hope that this, as a proof of concept, as an exploratory combo to show that there's a link, a bridge between these two engines, will inspire people and get them thinking about new ways to play the deck beyond some of the engines that we're familiar with, like the Shining Sarcophaguses and the Azaminas and the Primites. Let me know in the comments what you think. I will obviously see you all in the Discord. Thanks for watching.